Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Starladder Season 9, Day 1 of America. We've got our second match of 4, and we're not using the camera. We're aware of the sync issues, guys. We have a fix in mind, but it's going to be one of those things we have to tend to after this broadcast is complete. So you're going to have to bear with no camera usage.
If you're looking for fat material, you got to look somewhere else.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Medusa hair and all the other things that you guys like to say. Oh, my poor feelings, as Blitz would say. My poor feelings, guys.
Well, we have Osiris versus Team Liquid. Team Liquid was ranked by Andrew as 2, I believe. Was it 2 or 3?
Yeah.
I think it was 2.
You know what? I have to look at the grid again. I have to see all the teams in tandem here.
I think it was 2 for sure.
Yeah. EG, then Liquid, and then Team Dog. And then I think I had Osiris and then Dignitas. Does that sound right? Then E-Hug after that.
I would put E-Hug way above Dignitas.
E-Hug above Dignitas? Yeah. Okay. I haven't seen E-Hug play that much recently. But
they have skill.
The few teams I have, they've kind of been getting rolled. I don't know.
They're always playing like EG and stuff, though.
It's true.
They're gonna get
true.
crushed. Somebody has to get crushed.
Somebody's got to get crushed. And let's see here. Can we use this? I don't know why the American overlays are messed up. It doesn't show who has the who's on which side. So again, we're gonna not use the Starladder overlays here because I want to see who's on each team. And it's important to note here, Team Liquid, they've got themselves a stand-in. Infinity. He's in place of. I'm not sure who he's in place of. I don't know.
Who's the third player?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not sure who that is. Obviously, Way Too Bulba and TC are here. So he's either standing in for Fluff
or
Koikva. Yeah, and I
Infinity
really
is
don't know.
pretty good. He hasn't played in some time though. Like he's on my friends list. I don't see him play Dota very often. I can check his profile.
Might be
stalk him.
A little bit little rusty. See if you can figure out who that third person is.
Yeah, he's only played like 25 games in the past month.
In the past month?
In the past month.
Wow.
Yeah, so he might be a little bit. Whatchamacallit. And I think some of them were. I don't know. Looks like a couple of them were bot games too. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but he was a lot more active. Maybe he's just playing something else. Maybe he's playing on a Smurf. Who knows?
Yeah.
So hopefully he's in good shape. So Osiris, they were looking very, very good. They actually came through to the qualifiers as well as Team Dog, but they gave Team Dog a good run for their money, and they were relatively impressive in their game. Sometimes they have a couple of standout players. Classic with those, with his Earthshaker plays.
Yeah.
They also had Willas with those Rubik steals.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
And Pat Soul the Clockwork? No, that was Guanzo. Guanzo was the big
has
clockwork.
A clockwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat Soul's the farmer.
Yeah.
That should stick with the Radiance carries.
Yes, okay, I knew there was something special about Pat Soul. He does well when he gets a Spectre or a Naga, but when he goes more traditional, it's...
Yeah. And OS has a really good Dragon Knight.
Yes, he does.
So this is the team.
So they banned out the Naga. Smart idea from Liquid, but Osiris, they're one of these teams that...
It's classic drafting, not Pat Soul, which is important to note, because when Pat Soul drafted, he would take Naga first pick anytime that it was available.
Yeah. Yeah, he was pretty serious about that Naga.
He's very serious.
Osiris will go ahead and grab themselves the Lycan. And this is a hero that's really... He's made a big resurgence into the competitive scene, Merlini. How do you feel about Lycan right now? Where does he stand?
He's in a decent spot.
Give us a tier. What percentile are we talking?
It depends. If you need a pusher, he's really good. He's like 8 or 9. If he's a normal carry, he's like a 6.5. He's very situational though. He's very good when he's given room to push and farm. He's really good if you're on Dire, so you can do Roshan or on Dire this game. He's also really good if they have a lot of slows and they can't deal with a hasted hero.
Yeah,
so he's pretty good.
Where Lycan doesn't shine is the early game, though. We talked about in the last match a little bit, sort of like Axe.
He needs space creation.
Yeah, he needs space, and whether he's in lane or in the jungle, it still takes him a little while to really get online. But the good thing about Lycan is if you lose a team, if you win a team fight with Lycan on your team, you know that you're getting a tower kill, man. He flash pushes towers like a beast.
Yeah, I think he's probably the fastest single pusher in the game besides Lone Druid. Those two, I think can push towers down.
I think
incredibly fast.
I think Lycan might even be faster. Howl is ridiculous.
Yeah, but Lone Druid has better sustain because he's based around Howl. You have.
It also depends on how many units Lycan has. The more units you have, the more effective Howl is. So it kind of really depends on your roster as well, like your lineup that you're synergized with. But yeah, Lycan is definitely a scary hero. I mean, we saw it the final game 5 of Monster Invitational.
Oh gosh, is this going to be another TC Centaur? I remember seeing his last Centaur. It was
5
just
seconds
ugly.
remaining.
to say the least.
So we got to see a Centaur. Was it yesterday or the day before? We saw a Centaur not that long ago.
Yeah, it was.
And it
It
was
was PGG's 2 days ago. or
PGG
yesterday's.
position 1 Centaur, and
He
moral
couldn't do that much.
the moral of our story is Starladder is just better. You've got Centaur, and Starladder plays pretty much the same role. He's got the same general idea. He wants to go blank initiator with an AoE stun.
He's fast.
Yeah, Starladder is faster. Starladder's stun is just straight better. Not quite as bursty because of the double-edged axe, but
Timbersaw versus Centaur. This was a mistake, Team Liquid. Got to
Yeah.
ban that bad boy out.
if you want to pick Centaur, that's for sure. But so there's a lot of negatives around Centaur. Where does he shine? Does he have some sort of a niche where he is just the best of the best?
He's really good
Hoof
at
stomping.
bursting people down with
Hoof stomp.
Shadow Demon. I think.
Okay.
He has more burst than Starladder, right? Starladder
Yeah.
has more sustained damage because he has lower cooldown stun, but Centaur has by far more burst. So if you just need to nail a hero before they pop their defensive cooldowns,
Mhm.
then you do that. He's also good at saving people around the map with Stampede, but that's generally not as good. It's okay. It's too prohibitively long in cooldown.
Yeah.
to do that
What is it,
often.
like 120 seconds?
No, it used to be.
Okay.
It used to be
90.
120, 90, 60.
Yeah, so it's a little better now, but still not.
Man, I remember when
Not
that
big
skill stunned. Oh my goodness, that was the most broken crap I have seen in a very long time. And
Yeah.
actually, Earth Spirit was, but next to Earth Spirit was Centaur.
Yeah, well, nobody even compares to Earth Spirit. That was the Kale tier of broken.
That was above kill tier. Okay,
Yeah.
that was ungodly how badly he was.
That was
Imbalanced.
like, yeah, I don't have a fair comparison. It's like if God ate some kale or something like that. It's next level. That shit was. I'm glad he's still not in competitive. How long do you think it'll be before he's in captain's mode? Does he still need some work?
He needs slight buffs.
To
Buffs? You
To
think
be-
he's
to being
you
competitive?
think he's weak sauce now?
I think he's weak
He
sauce.
still has a lot of positioning tools.
He
Though.
is really weak sauce and competitive.
Okay. All right. I mean, I don't know. People don't play him anymore. Now that he got nerfed,
there's a reason
everyone's-
why he doesn't play him. Why they don't play him?
because he's just terrible.
He's not terrible. He's just not as good as other heroes.
All right.
It's just like you'll see Bloodseeker now and then pop in a
10 seconds
pub game, but
remaining.
you rarely see him in competitive. And like if you never see your hero in pubs, you're never gonna see him in competitive.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Except for Wisp. It's the one.
Except for
exception.
Wisp. Yes,
The
this is
one
true.
exception.
Reserve time.
But Tinker, the 4th pick for Team Liquid, that must make you happy, Merlini. I know how much you like seeing your good buddy Tinky
Tinker's
Winky
good.
there.
I don't know if he's that good in this lineup though.
This
They
is-
have a lot of burst, but like the Tinker synergy is a little strange.
Yeah.
There is still a clockwork in the pool though.
This
but
is
I
a
doubt
Bulba
Osiris-
Tinker, right?
I believe so.
Is Bulba like is he a Gosu level Tinker player?
He's pretty good. I
Very
haven't seen
solid.
it in a really long time though, so I can't judge it.
Is he a 10 out of 10 on the Flux scale?
I haven't seen it.
Alright.
He's definitely knows how to flux.
He definitely understands Flux. He's
He knows
on that
enough.
level. Okay, that's good.
He's
Good
not.
to hear.
He's not that
Team
Asian
Liquid's
person
turn to win.
mid-tier fluxer.
That was rough. That was. I don't think I've ever seen you more mad at anything, even in real life. They're like you don't really get mad. You're just
No.
like this Tinker.
He's making the hero
Arrgh.
look like a piece of crap.
He's given my hero a bad name.
I
Devin.
know.
This will not stand.
This will not stand. I will not stand for bad play
Oh man. That
from
was-
heroes that I like,
Yeah.
especially mid heroes that I like.
So yeah, an interesting draft from Liquid. I'm having
It's-
trouble
I
seeing
don't
the
know
synergy
what's going on
between
there.
their heroes.
They have a strong tri-lane though. They have so much burst.
Mhm.
Rubik telekinesis into a hoof stomp, double edge, and a grave chill and a
Yeah.
soul assumption.
That's a
That's
kill.
enough to kill anybody
Mhm.
at
Even
level 2.
Timbersaw.
Yeah, even Timbersaw. There's so much magical damage too. Like, I don't know. Centaur also does well against a lot of right clickers. Like
Mhm.
the heroes that do a lot of small right clicks, like let's say Gyrocopter, heroes with a lot of attack speed, but and low damage. But like with the Centaur versus this lineup, they have so much magical. Like it has like big hits with crits. That's not ideal for a return
Interesting.
and a DK. So I guess it's offlane Tinker.
Yeah, that's what I was. I mean, Bulba is usually a DK player, so
Prepare
I'm
for
a
battle.
little bit intrigued here. Let's see, who does Bulba have? Bulba is on the Tinker. All right, it will be TC playing on the Dragon Knight, and that means it's Infinity. They're standing here on the Centaur, and looks like
This is
way
gonna be
too
offlane
fluff.
Centaur. I think wait, what's TC playing?
TC is on the
The
Dragon
Dragon
Knight.
Knight?
So it will be solo safe lane Tinker down
Okay.
bottom.
I like this.
Yeah, DK mid, and then so Koikva is the one that's not here, and that's who Infinity is standing in for on the side of Team Liquid.
That darn NA scheduling.
Oh, yeah. Now on the dire side, we've got Team Osiris, and it looks like it will be Willez on the Bane and Classic on the Mirana, headed up to the top lane. Osiris himself is on the Storm Spirit, and is he headed to the top lane as well? Will this be a tri-lane with a support Mirana? Or is he going to... Is Petzl mid on the Lycan?
I'm not sure.
This
would be throwing us for a loop because every single game that we've seen Osiris play, they've done Osiris mid.
Yep, and then Guanzo will be in the off lane here.
I think Storm Spirit is going to get crushed in this tri-lane, like badly.
Yeah, this is weird.
It's weird and ineffective, it seems. And Timbersaw has so much regen. He has 10 tangos and a salve. And a stout shield.
I think he's anticipating this crazy tri-lane from Liquid that'll do a lot of damage. And Classic in some trouble. He did actually skill Arrow at level 1. Way 2 coming in. They won't have enough damage.
There's a lot of damage, especially since Classic pulled the other guy 2 tangos. So now he's hurting on the regen, hurting on the reds.
Definitely. So it looks like it will be Lycan mid. Petzl, not usually their mid player like you mentioned. Osiris.
Oh, TC blocked a little bit too much too. Yikes.
Yikes. Yeah, that tower will push the wave back. So this is definitely good for Lycan, though. We talked about how he is a little bit slow getting started. And
he's not that bad solo mid.
Yeah, solo mid is not bad. He gets the momentum, especially against the Dragon Knight. He should be able to farm.
He gets XP. Well. I think he needs XP more than farm early. But he also went an early Ring of Regen into Ring of Prot build, so I guess it may be a Vlad Rush. Technically, it could be a Tranquil's Rush. Technically, it could be a lot of things, but I'm pretty sure it's a Vlad's Rush.
Up top, we see some damage coming out. Osiris working his way through the trees. Now way to the target of choice. He will get put inside of a Nightmare.
Fluff is out of
Is
position.
in big trouble. Centaur does have a hoof stomp available. Another telekinesis onto Osiris. Pushes him towards Willez.
That TP.
He'll port back to safety.
I don't think that sleep was necessary by Willez. He used it on the Visage, but Visage was like already taking damage. He was... I mean, all they blocked was one right click. If they had that on the Rubik, it would have been a kill. Yeah. But regardless, still well played by Liquid. I think that... Actually, well played by Osiris. I think Osiris has the lower hand. Is there an opposite of upper hand? I mean... You say they have the upper hand as Magic, and you say they have the lower hand?
You could say that they're the underdogs.
They're underdogs, but what about lower hand?
No, I don't know. That doesn't really...
Underhanded?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really heard that. You could start it, though. You could coin it.
I don't like it.
A Numerlinianism.
It sounds weird.
They're really underhanded up here in the top lane. Yeah, that sounds really stupid.
It does. I can't roll with that.
I'm not sure if people would even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They do not have the upper hand.
They certainly don't. And Osiris is off to the races in terms of farm. He is 6-2. Centaur only 4-0. So actually not as big of a disparity as I would have thought, but at least Osiris off to an okay
start. He needs more manners.
Yeah.
They need magic sticks in this lane.
For sure.
Lots and lots of magic sticks.
Lycan is doing very well in the mid, though. TC struggling a bit against the Wrath of the Wolves. He is 5-3, and Lycan sitting
Why is Lycan playing so far back? Like, the supports are in clear sight on top lane.
I don't know. He's just microing those wolves a little bit, maybe.
The regen on the wolves, I think, was a really sick improvement for him.
Yeah, it is pretty insane. And they will die here. The only thing you have to be careful of is that they do give a pretty penny when they die. So Petzl should be careful about microing them about, as TC might be able to find some extra farm. He's in big trouble. He gets telekinesis back. Arrow does connect onto the Visage. This could, at the very least, be a 1-for-1. Nightmare on Infinity. Fluff will take it off, but they get the first blood. Mirana grabs the bonus gold as they finish off Visage. Osiris falls. Infinity will move through the trees. They'll switch their focus back onto Fluff. Classic has an arrow coming up in 2 seconds. He just needs to survive. There's the arrow on the mark. It may be a 2-for-2, and it is. Infinity comes in. He'll finish off the Mirana. That will tie it up 2 apiece here at the 3-minute mark. Osiris getting the edge as they did grab that first blood bonus gold. Osiris is back in the lane. Infinity may be overcommitting as he's going for Willez here. Way 2 joining the fray as well. Again, a triple kill now for the Centaur, but he will get cleaned up and he will fall actually to the Dire.
I still think this is going well for Osiris. Firstly, they got the first blood. Secondly, they have the worst tri-lane. So if they're breaking even, that's pretty darn good for them. Granted, it is in their safe lane, but they're still getting a lot of farm on Osiris. He's 9-2 compared to 6-0, and they're about even in terms of gold, the Storm and the Centaur. So all in all, not that bad. In mid is almost dead even in terms of net worth.
Yeah, in terms of last hits as well. And, who do you think is scarier, given if it's a break-even in the mid lane, if no supports rotate in, although that's going to be a moot point here, as it looks like Fluff as well as Infinity are going to rotate towards the mid and put some pressure on Petzl. But who's scarier with that kind of even farm, DK or
Smart
Lycan?
Move by Petzl. He was just getting the rune. I think Lycan.
Yeah.
DK's just like, he's annoying against a storm, but he just doesn't have the same umph that Lycan can do with a lot of free space. Like, he can just free farm the jungle like a madman. He can split push towers way faster than a Dragon Knight. But in team fights, if Liquid can force team fights, TC's going to be much scarier.
Yeah, and both of them are good pushers, but Lycan is that flash pusher that we were talking about. Now with that double damage rune, he'll get some free last hits here in lane as TC continues to harass with Breathe Fire. Up top, it looks like Liquid will do the all wrap around, and maybe they can find an initiation here. Infinity does have his Tranquil Boots up, so working on that regeneration Centaur style.
They dropped a ward though, so this is going to be really bad for Osiris. They're in a potentially really bad spot. Only for about a minute and a half, though.
Bulba's in big trouble. Classic rotates down, and there's no way he's going to survive this. Guanzo path blocking, and Mirana will finish him off with a point-blank arrow.
Classic's been playing really well on the Mirana, though. That arrow, if that hadn't hit on the top, they wouldn't have gotten the first blood. And Storm Spirit would have just died very easily to the Soul Assumption.
Very true. And now up top, since Mirana's left the lane, there's a little bit of action back and forth. The sleep put out on Infinity. Electric Vortex, Brain Sap, a good bit of burst damage, but not enough to bring him down. And he will walk back to the tower.
That's a big waste of mana. I don't think they should have done that, because now when OS hits level 6, he won't have any mana to jump and go for a potential kill. And meanwhile, Centaur just has Tranquil Boot, so he'll just Tranquil Booties all the way back up to full.
Yep, Visage is now rotated down bottom. They're looking for a kill onto Guanzo, but he does have 3 points in Timber Chain and will be able to hop back to safety. We haven't really talked about this off lane too much, but looks like we see an initiation up top, so we'll hold that thought. Storm Spirit gets telekinesis forward. He's only level 5, no choice but to stand his ground, and he will not survive. Infinity puts another one on the scoreboard and does tie it up once again, 4 apiece.
Yeah, the burst is just insane from Centaur, though. He has, 150 and then 325 level 3 double edge.
Yeah.
That is insane for a level 3 spell and a small AoE.
Yeah. Well, it does a huge amount of damage just because he takes the damage as well, so it's that whole risk return
It's all
thing.
good.
Yeah, it's all good. He's a Centaur. He can take it.
Yeah, he takes magic damage.
Half
It's not like Abaddon Miscoil where you take...
Half man, half horse, 100% beast.
He is a man. TC uses his ultimate in the middle, so it looks like this tower won't... I mean, the thing about it, like, neither hero can leave the lane. If they do, then their tower will just fall.
Yeah, that tower's done. And I like the build that he's going for here. I like that Pat Soul picked up a bottle so he can have some rune control, and he can just keep spamming.
I don't like the
wolves.
know-how build. I like the 4-1-1-1.
Yes. Not the items. Or, pardon me, not the spells. I was talking about the items. I like that he went bottle and is working towards Vlad's. Because Lycan does have mana issues early on.
Yes, he does.
So... good for a little bit of sustain, but we haven't talked about this bottom lane very much. Tinker is 24-9 up against the 25-9 Timbersaw. So very even in terms of last hits, though there is a small edge going the way of Guanzo, as Tinker did take a spill just a few moments ago. But in terms of net worth, they're just about dead even. Oh, look at this beautiful flux from Bulba down here.
Yeah, he knows about the diagonal.
He knows what's going on.
Arrow comes out from Classic, narrowly misses. Actually, that was kind of a big miss, but Tinker still, he almost has a soul ring. Have they been stacking the Ancients? Absolutely not. These supports have been preoccupied all game. And TC trying to push mid, but he does not have his thingy.
Classic could be in some trouble here.
Wait, how was TC level 8 and Pat Soul level 6? He just hit level 7. I don't know where this one full level difference came from. I think it's because he's been sitting too far back.
I don't either. And I was looking at this kill down bottom, but then I clicked off. It looks like Fluff and Stuff did get picked off by the rotation from the Timbersaw to join Mirana in the jungle. So Classic has just been a big playmaker. He's now 3-1-1. He's been moving around, setting up kills left and right, supporting the other lanes. So it's an indifferent take on Mirana, but I have to say I like it.
Yeah, it's only good if you can hit arrows, though.
That's very true. It is definitely a risky style of play, because if you're just running around not connecting arrows and not getting kills...
TP on bottom, Bulba almost dies to Guanzo. So close.
And, Guanzo will get picked off as Visage joins the party. Infinity ported down, but he didn't even really do much.
Nope, no he did not. And now this will free up Storm some space so he can get his treads and whatnot. I don't know if he's going for treads. I would go for treads if I were him. He needs the HP buffer in case Centaur initiates on him. He will have Stampede. He does have Stampede up right now. And he's halfway to his blink. So once he gets his blink, I think the game gets a lot more difficult for Osiris.
Definitely right about that. Again, he's very similar to Starladder in that sense. Wants to grab an early blink so he can run around and set up kills, get that momentum, and move it into a successful mid-game.
So finally they start stacking the Ancients, and Patzel was just really not done that much on the Lycanthrope.
No, but he does have just enough to grab that Vlad's. He will lose the tier 1 tower compliments of that Dragon Knight. But Vlad's is when Lycan starts to come online.
Yeah.
And he might be able to sneak a Roche if he smokes in at some point here, especially if he rotates into the jungle and is off the map. They might be able to do it.
Yep, they smoked. He has picked up the Vlads. And here they go.
Yep, Lycan is... No, yeah, he's
He's
not
not
smoked
smoked.
up. But yeah, it will be Classic and Willez with the smoke online. And Willez will actually go ahead and grab his Arcane Boots on the Bane. He's only level 5, so obviously Fiend's Grip not online quite yet, but still doing reasonably well in terms of experience. Rubik only level 4. And, well, there's an experience edge for Liquid, I suppose. As Visage is level 7, Way2 has been finding a lot of experience around the map. And here's the rotation. They will initiate onto the Visage. Nightmare into Arrow. Easy kill as Timbersaw comes in. Plenty of damage, and he may be level 7, but it won't be enough to keep him alive.
Yeah, and Dwalwa actually has not taken a level rearm, so his Ancient Jungling is actually going to be extremely slow. But he did get a triple stack.
Still no BOTs up, though. Rather slow for Bulba. And he still isn't
Yeah,
really
he's
that close.
0-1 though. It's going to be... I mean, after the stack, it will happen. Especially after the Big Dragon. 200 gold, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, he'll still need like one small creep camp, but
At least they're stacking the
on
Ancients.
top lane.
Oh, yep. There will be a dive into the tower. Infinity taking a lot of damage, but might be able to turn it around on Osiris. Or Osiris. Nope. He will zip to mitigate some damage and makes it to the secret shop. Classic hits level 6. It will be able to use the Moonlight Shadow. And
Osiris's
everyone will
movement
walk
has
away.
just been really good this game. I think mostly the Mirana. A little bit of the Bane too, but mostly Classic. He's just been running around, making the supports react to him. Noticed, like, we saw the Centaur TP bottom, but they didn't really do anything because Tinker was getting dove. Visage just TP top, but wasn't able to do anything. They're making the supports react, and this kind of takes Liquid out of their element.
Yeah. And they're creating space for Pat Soul. He's getting outfarmed by the DK by about 600 or so on the net worth chart, but he's still doing just fine. And this is when Lycan starts to come online. We mentioned Vlad's is that first kind of turning of the tides. He's got another 1,000 in the bank. I'm rather
Yeah, he
curious
can buy his
to-
medallion right now and do Roshan. They
Yeah.
need to do Roshan though. Like with a passive farming Lycan like this, you need to get some sort of advantage, either towers or Roshan. And with no towers, even low,
and
Guanzo's deep.
Yeah, he dives for the DK. He doesn't get the kill, but actually does a fair bit of damage as he does head back to safety. Willez needs to be a bit careful. He is now level 6, so there is a Fiend's Grip available, but the follow-up isn't there, and they will both just retreat.
This
back
tower
to
in
safety.
mid was untouched prior to that range creep beat on it. Literally untouched. 1,300 out of 1,300.
Yeah, Lycan hasn't been able to press towards it at all. And down bottom, Willez is the lone defender, as Liquid will start pressuring the bottom tier 1 tower.
BOT's up on Tinker. It's big.
Yep, and meanwhile in the mid lane, though, Pat Soul will be joined by some of his allies, and now this tier 1 will start taking some pressure as well. How much damage did they do? DK did a fair bit. That Corrosive Breath will continue to tick it down as they leave the lane. Guanzo coming around the backside will do a lot of damage to Fluff. He still gets the telekinesis off. A laser comes out from Bulba. And Classic very low right here. Only 70 hit points to spare. Bane does get picked off down in the bottom lane by the Centaur, which is rather unfortunate. And they get the tower kill. So Liquid find the better of
And
this
they didn't even
exchange.
get the T1 in mid.
Yeah. So
I don't think this Lycan pick is panning out for them as of yet. They haven't been able to do anything with it. They haven't been able to take any towers or take Roshan. It's almost 12 minutes in. So, or it's almost like 15 minutes. That's like when you want to get at least something done. Now he has the
There's the
medallion,
medallion.
but now I think Liquid's in a pretty good position to defend it. They still have their T1 up. Patzel's just getting obliterated on bottom. And,
dude, he just got destroyed.
yeah, he
Oh
doesn't have
my
any HP.
God.
He needs an Aegis for some buffer, but yeah, that was just...
To be fair, that was a lot of burst damage, but still, he didn't even have time to react to that. That was just devastation.
I mean, that's what you need to use your Lycan Wolf to scout.
Yeah.
I still think he should stick to Radiance carries. I'll stand by my statement earlier in this.
I mean, based on how he's playing this Lycan, it seems to be more
I don't
of a
think
fact
I don't
than an
think he shouldn't
opinion.
have lost his tower that early. Like you can just use the wolves to redirect, and they're so difficult to kill now. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. The supports were really preoccupied in the top lane too because they were trying to keep Storm down. So all in all, I don't think that Patzel has made good use of the space that his team has created for him.
Yep.
Bulba.
Classic and Willez find Bulba in the jungle. There's the Fiend's Grip, Starfall, and an easy kill on the Tinker.
I think they smoked. I didn't actually
They
catch
did
it.
smoke,
Yeah,
yep.
so very good smokes, like 2 smokes, 2 kills.
Yeah, great rotation. The support's continuing to create space. Not all hope is lost. There is now some space to move into the Roche pit. Pat Soul will not smoke up, but he will have a stroke of luck in the sense that, oh wait, no, there is a Dire Ward down right here. So I'm pretty sure they saw that. And Pat Soul, he's playing with fire right here. They will just pressure the top tier 1 tower. I guess Liquid don't want to contest it. Lycan will be able to take Roche reasonably fast, compliments of that medallion.
Yeah, it's at half HP though. He does have a wolf resummon, and Tinker is up, so he can defend. And they have to get out because they can't push with only 3.
Yep, and Lycan will play it smart.
Vanish.
He'll move out of the Roche pit. And Moonlight Shadow, they'll make a rotation in. I like this play from Osiris.
The Visage Birds will scout it out though. They know that something funny is going on.
Yep, and there they are. So I like the thought from Osiris, I guess. I'll change my tune a little bit there. But very unfortunate for Patso. Liquid have been doing such a good job preventing this Lycan from getting a lot of momentum. And now look at that net worth chart. He is starting to fall behind. Tinker is starting to take off a little bit. He's got 1,600 in the bank now after the BOTs.
DK has a Shadow Blade. This is really bad for Osiris.
Shadow Blade, and we talked about that blink on Centaur. How's Visage doing? Just Tranquil boots up, but he's still doing okay. Looks like he'll be working towards Medallion as well.
Is he gonna try? Is Liquid gonna just try and run up to him or not? Oh, nice, smart.
Yeah, good reaction there from Osiris.
Now they see that he has a Shadow Blade. I don't know if he had it last time he popped up on the map, but now they definitely know.
Yeah. Well,
which is bad. Like Storm Spirit, he has to be like an item ahead. Now he is like, yeah, he's like halfway to his Orchid, but at the same time, like DK might have BKB by the time he completes his Orchid, and then what do you do as Storm?
Oh, here we go. Willa's in trouble. Infinity doing a lot of damage. Brain Tap actually doing a lot of return damage as well. Oh no, Storm Spirit just gets obliterated, though the Centaur does fall. March Machine coming in, and Liquid will take a very convincing fight. A 1 for 3, and Bane actually burns a buyback.
TC just straight up stunned the Storm as soon as he went in, and then he just died.
Yeah.
Like, DK is proving to be a very, very big problem for Osiris because they can't just initiate in anymore. They have to rely on arrows. They have to rely on like sneaky plays as opposed to brute forcing. And TC and the rest of Liquid, they don't really have a problem defending any of the towers either. They've only lost 1 tower on bottom, so that T1 tower up in mid means that they have pretty good Roshan control, and that's very, very important, especially important when you have a Tinker. 16 minutes in, Tinker has his Blink Dagger. Boba is looking to be a scary force, and they're using the Visage Familiars very well too, BOTing on those.
And it's really important when your opposition on the Dire has a Lycan as well. The fact that we're 16 minutes in and Patsoul has yet to secure a Roshan kill is huge for Liquid. That's just it's something that you really can't undervalue at this point. Visage proving to be a really good pick as well for those mobile wards. Bulba now with the Blink Dagger up. His first core item after Boots of Travel. Nothing too surprising about that on the Tinker. And the other big item pickups here. What is Centaur working on? Looks like it will be a hood into a pipe.
Could just be Casual Cloak.
Could just be a Casual Cloak.
I think Casual Cloak and a BKB is pretty good.
Yeah,
or
not
just
a bad game for a pipe. Not particularly good either, but
not particularly good.
There's a fair bit of magic damage coming out.
Yeah. The pure damage, though, is what's going to destroy him.
Yeah, and Osiris does have a good bit of it between the Bane and the Timber Saw. I mean, we saw how much damage that Brain Sap did to Infinity in that last fight. It's pretty ridiculous. Saw that arrow fly from Classic just slightly off the mark. They will try and defend this tower, but DK doing what DK does best, just sieging down these towers. God, that corrosive breath. Just disgusting how fast it kills towers.
Yeah, on top of that, they have Return, and they have Visage Familiars, and they have Tinker to defend too. So the split push is somewhat effective. Looks like they will get a top T1 as well as a mid T1. But at some point, Tinker is just going to... they have really no good way to catch a Tinker.
Whoa, Fluff and Stuff gets destroyed by Guanzo as he timber chains forward. Infinity put inside of a Nightmare. TC was caught inside of a Fiend's Grip, but now Tinker joining the party. A lot of damage coming out from both sides. Way too, perhaps in some trouble. No, it will be Bulba, who does grab a kill on Timbersaw, but he overcommits to get it, and he will fall. Classic dies in the Wrath of Visage, but again, Visage gets taken out to secure that kill. The Tier 2 tower falls, and it is an even exchange at 3 for 3 on the side of Liquid getting the edges. They got the tower, although it was a
Storm has his Orchid now, so this is pretty good. Now he can constantly kill Tinker if Tinker pokes out too far, and now they can split push a lot more effectively. So this is a huge pickup for Osiris. Gold lead almost at 0, and I think this is with what, even tower count? Actually, it's 4 to 3. So Osiris still without taking down Roshan. This is an extremely close game. Look at the experience graph. It's like just hovering around that 0 mark. Same with the gold graph. So
very back and
this
forth.
This Roshan is really important though, because Osiris can exert a lot of pressure, especially with a split push. And they need to find Tinker alone. I think if they prevent Tinker from getting his next big item, whether it's a Dagon or a Sheep, I think Sheep is better here versus Storm Spirit. I think that's going to be really important in that 30 to 40 minute phase.
Yeah.
So,
I definitely agree. Sheep over Dagon. I think that's the case in most games.
Yes.
But a lot of Tinkers do opt for that Dagon first. Some other big items have been picked up following that fight. Lycan now has a level 2 Necro Book. Marana working towards a 4th staff. She is playing support this game, so it does make a little bit more sense than usual, perhaps.
it's good for the chain stun lock.
Yeah, and Bulba does now have the ultimate orb up, so it looks like he will indeed be going for that sheep stick that we were talking about. In Guanzo, he'll now have the Bloodstone on Timbersaw, who's also sitting level 11.
Yeah, so now Osiris, they have to shift into... Oh, we see a smoke ink.
And they're going to be dangerously close to the opposition here. Fluff and Infinity need to be very careful. They're outnumbered. It does get pinged out by Osiris. Infinity hops forward, does a lot of damage. Hoof Stomp, Telekinesis. Goodbye, Storm Spear. And he'll be the first to fall. Now Marana, the target of choice, will be able to leap back to safety, but Fluff just gets destroyed by Guanzo once again. And now Timbersaw, he's hungry, and he's going to keep pressing forward. Infinity taking a lot of damage here. Guanzo will have a Timber Chain available, and he'll cut him down
That
with the
burst from
chakra.
Timbersaw is just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, Fluff was at like 80% HP, and he just got obliterated.
Yep,
Like,
Timber dropped him. Full
what
to
in the
0.
world?
From hero to 0. It's insane.
yeah, I mean...
Again, this is Timber with just a Bloodstone.
We talk about Timbersaw being underpicked. I think he's more underpicked even than we, like...
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally agree, especially against a Strength Core lineup with a DK and a Centaur. Oh, God, this was such a smart pick for Osiris.
They should do Roshan, I think, soon. They finally take on the mid T1, which is where Tinker... That's usually Tinker's go-to TP. And where are the Visage Birds, actually, right now? And look like they're setting up wards on the high ground to try and prevent this Roshan. But it's just so important. That's the problem against when you're playing against a Lycan. You're like, they could be doing Roshan any time, and you always have to be prepared for it.
Yeah, it was smart. I believe Osiris banned out Clockwork, and he is really good in these kind of scenarios to constantly spam the flares into the Roche pit and give you that intel. That was definitely a smart choice to ban out, but yeah, the Visage Familiars will play a similar role here as they fly over once again, just to double check, make sure nothing is happening there in the Roche pit.
Oh, they pinged out a ward. I think they know. Yep, he knows. He knows they have a ward there. It was very smart because he has this observer ward over here. He's like ran over here, then ran back, and then they know. So now they have to worry even more about it. He constantly has to keep his Visage Familiars around that area. This T2 is getting under pretty heavy siege, though.
Yep, Lycan was down bottom. Probably not Lycan. Storm Spirit down bottom was pressuring that lane a little bit, but he will be forced back as they do need to make a hold here, or if they want to make a hold, they'll have to engage reasonably soon. There is a glyph available for the Dire side. Some flexing march on their way in. But Osiris just playing this very cautiously. I don't think they really want to fight here if they can avoid it. They will use the glyph, Moonlight Shadow in. There is a Sentry Ward down for the Radiant side. TC caught inside the Fiend's grip, but not enough follow-up damage to secure the kill. Fluff is getting pursued by the Storm Spirit. Dragon Knight got picked off by this around the other side as well. Now Waytu's in big trouble. The ulted Lycan is hard to get away from. It's a 3-0 to get things started, and it's not over yet. Now Infinity on the run. Make it 4 as he is destined to fall. The negative urn. And the Chakram for good measure, that finishes him off. Osiris actually taking some damage from the Visage Familiars. They will secure a kill. Tinker porting in. Will this be a mistake from Bulba, though? He is all by his lonesome.
If he gets hit by arrow, the wolves can stop his blink, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a scary play. The Necronomicon units come in. Visage Familiars, arrow. Nope, not going to throw it.
That was still
Doesn't have the cooldown.
That was still pretty YOLO by Bulba there.
Yeah, very brave. So they get a recovery kill on Storm, compliments of the Familiars. But
4 for 1, though. That is
yeah.
brutal.
Disastrous team fight, and they held the tower.
They don't have any way to deal with the Lycan. Lycan just straight up ulted Necrobook and just ran in without a BKB. And all they did was DK stun and run away. And everyone just panicked. Let's get the hell out of here. They're also fighting in this very awkward positioning. Like, usually when you siege a T2, you're over here, so you can spread out more around this area. But when you're sieging the tower from over here, when you back off, you're actually forced into a choke, which is really, really poor positioning. So that was... I can understand what they were going for. They were just trying to get in and get out really quickly and just get the tower down. The tower's at 109 HP. I think they overcommitted for that. They wanted that to vie for Roshan control. But now with that lost fight, Osiris is in an even better position to take out Roshan.
Yep, and Roshan actually still alive, so they won't be able to do it in time. Liquid's still reasonably low level.
Nice scouting out by OS. He drops his remnants here so that they can kill the Familiars. And without Familiars, Liquid's even more scared. It's all about this Roshan. This Roshan is so important. Liquid are gearing for a very difficult game if they let it go by for free.
They're doing a good job contesting around the pit. Familiars will serve as that mobile relocation tool for Bulba with his boots of travel. Now they're going to go into Roche. They're going to try and snipe it. Martian Machine comes out. Pings coming from Osiris. They know exactly what's going on here. And Liquid, they just can't kill it too quickly. Timbersaw hops in. So much damage coming out onto Team Liquid. This is just a bloody disaster. Centaur falls. They do manage to get a kill on the Mirana, as well as the Storm Spirit. The March of the Machine actually doing a lot of damage, but now they'll get a kill on Visage. TC headed for the hills as Pat Soul burns the ultimate. Tinker, meanwhile, he'll grab the Aegis. He finishes off the Timbersaw. I'm not sure who came out ahead in this fight. I guess it was Liquid. They got the Roche kill, and
Liquid.
yeah, and they got the Aegis. So I probably should have been looking at that instead of watching Lycan chase the DK, but good play from DK
Eyes
as
on
well.
the prize from Bulba.
Yeah.
That's
was a
so
smart
important.
idea. I mean, TC pulled the attention from Osiris, and that was part of what allowed
Yeah, I think they
Bulba to
should have
move
kept
into the
fighting
pit.
in the pit
Yeah.
instead of chasing.
Exactly. Osiris, they started off so strong with Timbersaw coming in, but then they started to spread out as Liquid wanted to scatter, and I think they needed to commit to Roche, or at least go for a snatch on the Aegis.
Yeah, or they needed to burst down TC faster because he didn't have a BKB that fight. Now he will have it. Now Tinker has a scythe. Now things are in really dire straits for Osiris.
Yep, and still a very even game. Goldgraph just about zeroed out. A small experience edge for the Dire
He gets
team.
sheeped on bottom.
Guanzo, he's in trouble. It's funny how that sheep gets the little bubble on his head. It's so cute, but he'll still fall.
Okay, now Osiris, what can they really do now? If they split push, they get ganked by the Visage Familiars and a BOT Tinker. And if they don't split push, they'll get out farmed by their Centaur and the Tinker and the DK. And Tinker has BKB too. Or sorry, not Tinker. DK has BKB too. So I don't know. I guess it's best to just split push with Lycan since he's the most tanky of them. They also need a big item of Storm Spirit, either a Scythe or a BKB, so they can actually catch out this Tinker.
It appears BKB will be the choice. He's got the Ogre Club, but still quite a ways off completing the rest of the item. How's Lycan doing? He needs a BKB as well. Similar story, only an Ogre Club in the inventory. And is there anything sitting on the courier? Actually, there is a Mithril Hammer, so Pat Soul a little bit closer than the Storm, just working towards that recipe right now. And that's where Lycan will be a lot more scary when he can just BKB and go ham with the Shapeshift. He is also level 16, so Shapeshift is that much more potent, though. An ability that doesn't really scale that well. It's mostly the cooldown, 40 seconds. Here is a Moonlight Shadow as they press forward. Bulba has already blinked forward. He could be in some big trouble here. Fiend's Grip out of the gate. And this Tinker is going to go down. There's two fights breaking out here. That will pop the Aegis. And Storm...
Can they get him before his blink?
Yep. Storm also picked off Fluff. He will blink back to safety, not into the trees, but they're going to continue to pursue. TC still in Elder Dragon form. The Chakram on the mark. Bulba still in big trouble. Infinity coming in. They'll use the Sheep Stick on to Pat Soul. And a nice hoof stomp will buy them some time, but now it could be the DK that's in trouble. He's got BKB on, still plenty of duration left as it is the 10-second
That was a
BKB
mistake by
charge.
Osiris. They should have dropped a Remnant right on top of the Aegis, and then as soon as he pops, he'll take the Remnant damage, and then he can't blink. They should have killed him before the blink. They also thought he was going up here. They could have like spread out over here, cut off his retreat path, but they just did not do a very good job. That was a very smart gank from them too. Like I thought they were going to get a lot more out of it, but oh no, they just get what, one Rubik kill? That's it.
And they Aegis and Rubik, so not bad, but yeah,
it could have been a lot. They have to kill Tinker more.
Yeah, I thought Bulba was going to port up here as well, but he made the smart read to see that Osiris weren't anticipating and blinking back, and he just hopped here and just went straight back towards the base to meet up with the Centaur, who was in a good position as well. Great support from TC to roam in. That hoof stomp definitely saved the Tinker.
They needed to stop the blink though. That's the utmost importance. Now he has a Ghost Scepter too. He's becoming increasingly difficult to kill, and that's not to we're not even talking about the Dragonite and the Centaur, who still do fair amounts of damage too.
So Osiris are definitely in some trouble here, but still a remarkably even game on our hands. Only a small golden experience lead within about 1,000 on both sides of the coin. Let's check item progression here. Centaur has picked up a pipe I don't think we made mention of, and Wei2 has found enough farm to grab himself the Agnim's Scepter on the Visage. So even more familiars out on the field. 3 Blink Daggers on the side of Liquid. Rubik, Tinker, and Centaur. And plus they've got DK with the Shadow Blade, so more than enough initiation power on the Radiant.
I think the gold graph is a little bit deceiving though. I think that Liquid has a very sizable advantage right now, post-Sheep. because Osiris doesn't have like that much to deal with it. There's no BKB on the Storm. There's no BKB on the Lycan. They don't have any hexes for themselves, and all they can really do is like orc it or maybe sleep him and try and disable him. But like this tower's gonna melt. They know they can't defend because they're so much weaker, especially without the Aegis in the hands of their Lycan.
Yeah. So that tower will fall. There is actually a BKB coming out on the Lycan right now. Yep, there's the recipe, and he'll pick it up. So maybe that's the item they need to make this hold. Blink Dagger on. Oh, Guanzo! What are you doing, buddy?
He tried to blink in and Timber Chain out, but he has sheep. He can't do it.
I mean, I saw what he was going for, but exactly, you know that they have all the crowd controls up off cooldown. That was way too bold. Now this defend is going to be a little bit more difficult. He does have Bloodstones. He'll be coming up in just about 20 seconds. They might be able to hold this. Liquid will not overcommit, and they will just back out. So
vanish.
Still, that's just a free kill on the Timber, though.
Yes, it was.
That was a straight feed. Very unfortunate.
But I mean, the Tinker Hex is just insanely powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Game completely changes once that happens, and now Osiris, they have to kill him. They have to secure our next Roshan. Having a Lycan on your team and not doing Roshan, you're doing your team a great disservice by picking him, or not executing correctly.
Yeah. Patsol is 3-1-3, so he has avoided death, but he just hasn't had a huge impact. I mean, he's only been involved in, or at least gotten credit
He had
for being
a
involved in
big
6
impact on
kills.
that T2 defend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
But now, I mean,
overall,
Tinker has a Ghost Scepter. He can just kite them all day.
Yeah.
Sheep, Blink, Ghost Scepter.
It's just too hard
repeat.
for Lycan to rat Dota. I mean, that's part of where he shines, is being able to just destroy structures. But with a Tinker, that's so difficult. Liquid have a strong enough core lineup that they can afford to put their Tinker to deal with the Lycan, and now the Tinker's farmed enough that he can easily solo the Lycan. Oh, down bottom, we'll see initiation. Fluff and Stuff will actually fall, as we see some zipping around by the Storm Spirit. Bulba in some trouble. He will take an Orchid. Already used his Ghost Scepter. Does have a Sheep available, but not looking like it'll be enough to save him. Chakram actually will be off the mark, but they will chase him down. The negative Urn doing a good bit of extra damage. Timber Saw with the one last punch to the face, but he will buy back. It looks like Liquid do want to contest here. They'll finish off the Mirana. Now Osiris and Guanzo are in some trouble. TP out from Osiris. Will he make it? No, the Sheep. Oh, just half a second to go, and they grab a recovery kill on Osiris.
Guanzo's staying around. Oh.
Yeah, a little bit longer than I thought he would.
That was a. I don't know if the buyback was worth it though. You're pretty much trading your buyback for a Storm Death. But at the same time, they didn't want to push with the Timber down, so I don't think they'll be able to push a T3, especially with it being this far out and Rubik being dead. Maybe they can like pressure it and threaten a little bit, but as far as going for a full-out committal push, I don't think so.
Yep, Roche won't be up anytime soon, and looks like they wanted to maybe pull a rotation onto Lycan, but that's not going to happen, as we see some pings coming out on that ward. The Necronomicon units will be able to finish it off.
If they could translate this to Roshan, I think it'd be worth it too, but as it stands, I'll probably just, beat on a little bit, force out the glyph, and then back off.
Oh, they will find Patsol. Wow, what a terrible position for him to be in. He'll get put inside of a Nightmare, and he might be able to survive, but there's the Sheep from Tinker.
He has a BKB. Where's your BKB, man?
Oh, he's just going to get obliterated. Fiend's Grip comes out on the TC, but it just doesn't matter. Now Timbersaw falls.
Well,
this is a disaster
why
for
is
Osiris.
he standing down the hill?
I don't know. That was like the worst position he could have been in right there. This should have been so difficult for Liquid to push through.
Yes,
but
should have been.
Now Timber will buy back. Lycan does not have a buyback available. He's 400 gold short. This is an easy 5v4, though. Timbersaw will help secure the kill onto Dragon Knight. Storm the second to fall. Now Guanzo forced back a little bit. The March of the Machine making this so easy. Osiris just can't take the damage.
Well, all in all, it's still not that bad, though. The nice arrow from Classic connecting on TC before they can do significant damage to the T3. So, I mean, that could have been so much worse. Oh,
they'll reinitiate.
It is going to be much worse.
Will is just in big trouble. Fluff, he's going to initiate onto Classic. There's the Sheep once again. Guanzo trying to hop in and do some damage, but it's just not enough. He's now the lone defender, and he may survive, but still the damage has been done here. This tier 3 will fall. Glyph has already been popped. No more buybacks available for the Dire. An easy lane of racks, or is it? No, Liquid will just...
What? There's only one hero up. Now there's only two. They have the Sheep.
I guess they were just waiting for creeps, and they'll use the pipe.
So. I was like, there's no reason for them to stop right now.
That was weird. So, all right, this still will be an easy lane of racks. The double march.
They only got the range racks though.
What?
I don't know. This is strange. Liquid could have easily gotten the melee racks.
Yeah.
And if they were just standing there and not waiting for the creeps, they could have gotten both racks.
Yeah, easy. I don't understand. I mean, it'd be one thing if Roche was up and they wanted to take that advantage
Yes.
while they were down, but Roche is still down for a pretty decent amount of time, at least another minute
Oh
or so.
no, that's a win for Osiris. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, my Lycan just got picked off without using BKB and caught down the hill, no problem. And then Storm Spirit dies because he doesn't have BKB yet, and they can't capitalize on it. Now Storm will have BKB.
Yep.
And Lycan, looks like that Dagon's coming up soon on Tinker, and they used a Tinker buyback for that, but he's gonna have it up in 3 minutes. I don't think it'll be that big.
Yeah,
of a
but
deal.
I mean, Timber bought back and Tinker bought back. So that was just one buyback apiece. It's not even like they forced Osiris to burn a bunch of buybacks before they got wiped. That really was a decent hold. 7,500 gold and experience edge for Team Liquid right now. I think Osiris are still in this game, though. They are undoubtedly up against the ropes here. What can they do to secure a win here, Merlini?
Get Roshan.
Yeah.
The Roshan is so important. Not only because they need it on their team, they also need to deny it from Tinker. Or, yeah, Tinker's the big one. Tinker should carry it, but he actually doesn't have any space for it right now.
Yeah. Well, BKB should be up on the Storm pretty soon here. There is a drum just sitting on the Courier. It is for Classic, and he has yet to grab it. He doesn't have any inventory space, but there's the BKB for Osiris on the Storm Spirit.
He desperately needed that. It's coming out a little bit late, too. He picked up his Orchid at a decent clipping, but after that nice sheep by Boba on him down here, and another death zipping in, defending the T3. It looks like they want to finish off the melee Rex right now.
Yeah, this is really a strange play from Liquid. They should be able to finish off the Rex pretty easily.
At the same time, they're pushing without Tinker buyback. And this could be very disastrous. And Storm just had his BKB, so here they go. Here's the big one.
Moonlight, Shadow, and Smoke online.
They
for
have a
Team
gem,
Liquid.
though. They have a gem on
Or
Visage.
pardon me, for Osiris, they will poke forward. Infinity, he actually misses the hoof stop as they hop in. Tinker does pop the Ghost Scepter straight away. Pat Soul will be the target of choice, it seems. He's a little piggy, but he's going to be forced to retreat. Guanzo hopping in now. He's taking a lot of damage as well. Both sides very tanky, but Timber will be the first to go down. Now Classic taking a lot of damage as he takes a Dragon Tail to the face. He'll fall. Willez gets stunned as he tries to port out. It's going to be a 3-0 going the way of Team Liquid, and that may be the nail in the coffin. It will be at least for this bottom lane of Rax.
I think that's game. They were trying to go for the Tinker, but Tinker was just doing such a good job of eluding them. He ran to the right. He blinked over here. He had Ghost Scepter up during an Orchid. He just played really well in that fight. And Infinity even missed his Blink Hoof Stomp, too. I thought that was going to be really bad for us,
Yeah.
Liquid.
The problem at this point is Lycan is just not very tilted. We saw he did very little right there. He has a lot of farm, but
Yeah.
to-
If we can see hero damage at the end, his would be pretty darn low.
yeah, pretty much just to no avail. In that fight, what did he achieve? He did a couple of right clicks and then just took a lot of damage, tried to run, and then got killed on the retreat. And he's their big breadwinner. If you look at the net worth chart, he's the only one tangoing in the top 5 of farmers. So
Yeah, he needs like an Abyssal to lock heroes down
Yeah.
so he can do the deeps.
Liquid just did such a good job of dealing with this Lycan. The Tinker pick, I think, was so smart. This is part of the reason why you don't really want to third pick a Lycan. There are definitely ways that you can draft to try and make his life a bit more difficult.
I don't think that Tinker should have been this farmed, though. Like, it's up to Storm Spirit to kind of gank him, but he was under a lot of pressure because Lycan wasn't doing enough. Like, they were able to focus the Storm Spirit so much and kind of ignore the Lycan. Not that they ignored the Lycan, he still can't do anything. So, like, one of those heroes needs to step up to the plate and kind of hammer Liquid's lineup, but no one can really do anything. Like, Storm BKB'd in and zipped in, wasn't able to grab a kill with your Orchid. Usually that's a guaranteed kill.
Yeah, Storm is just too far behind at this point, I think. On the net worth, he is number 7 right now. That's just far from ideal. Osiris has had such a small impact this game. The tri-lane up top, I don't know if I'd say it was disastrous, but it was far from ideal. And I mean, all he has is Orchid BKB. They're not bad items. It's just the timing that's been holding him back.
Yeah.
And at 37 minutes, you want your Storm to have more items than that.
Yes. Especially in a position 1 Storm.
Yeah.
And, I mean, granted they had a couple sloppy defense, like Lycan just getting caught out and Guanzo blinking in and getting Hex. So, I think that they could have executed a little bit better. But at the same time, like, Tinker had that really, really early Hex.
And here we go. Liquid starting to move into the Roche pit. Mirana actually does chuck an arrow that stuns Roche, does them a little bit of a favor. Osiris all grouped up about the high ground here, trying to find an opening to initiate. Rubik steals the arrow, will chuck it up to the high ground off the mark, but now Willez is the target. And here's the engage. Bane will be the first to fall. Mirana gets juice second. Way2 taking a lot of return damage, but the March of the Machine just doing so much. Osiris holding their own okay in this fight, trying to do some damage to finish off the Visage. Will it be enough? Yes, Patsol does grab that last hit, but it just isn't enough. 4 for 1. GG, well played, come out, and Liquid will take a victory in their first match of
I think
Starladder season.
Bulba is MVP for this match. He farmed incredibly well, and he was under like some sort of pressure from the Bane or Mirana. I think he got ganked by them twice, but still, he really farmed his sheep fast. A clutch Aegis steal, and just being very elusive in team fights. They always wanted to go for him first, but they couldn't.
And you're right. For Bulba, what was particularly good about this play is he had relatively slow boots of travel. I think it was 11 minutes or so after he was able to take out the double-stacked Ancients. He definitely had a slow start, and the recovery was just top-notch. He was the big reason Lycan wasn't able to push any towers, do any kind of rat Dota.
Yeah.
Then, like you
He's
said,
a 10 out of 10 Tinker.
10 out of 10 Tinker, yeah. The flux was next level. But, yeah. That,
He makes the hero look good.
yeah. Dude, that Aegis steal, that was the beginning of the end for Osiris.
They should have taken out Roshan a long time ago, though. They shouldn't
Yeah.
have been in that position where they're actually trying to contest a Roshan with the Radiant.
I would have liked to see Lycan try to sneak into Roche a little bit more. He didn't even try to smoke into the Roche pit and do some crafty
His team
plays.
bought him a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's still one of those kind of long shot things that Liquid did a really good job using the familiars to scout around and not make it easy for Lycan to take an easy Roche, but you have to at least try the smoke strat.
It's like having Ursa and not doing Roshan. And they're on Dire, too. If they were on Radiant, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But they're on Dire.
Yeah, you got to use that advantage. It's rather unfortunate. Timbersaw, he did a lot of damage, but it just wasn't
Let's look at
enough.
hero damage.
Yes, actually.
Hero damage, total damage done by Timbersaw, 20,000.
Okay.
Lycan, 10,000.
Yeah.
Storm had more damage than Lycan, too. So Storm had 10,000. Lycan had 10,000. Timbersaw had both of them combined.
Yeah,
So.
Lycan just never got the momentum that he
Tinker,
needed.
36,000.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's about that.
There you go. So, Tinker, big breadwinner, no doubt about it.
Good job, Bulba.
So, that was our second match of the day, guys. Yeah, good job, Bulba. Well done. So, let's go ahead and take a look at our remaining schedule here. We've got 2 games left. Coming up next will be EG versus Team E-Hug, scheduled to start in just about 15 minutes. Then our last match of the day before BTS finally gets a break after this long 24 hours of casting. It will be Revenge versus CNB. So, stay with us, guys. 2 more games of Dota coming your way on this fine Tuesday afternoon. Thank you for joining us here. We'll be right back.